when you look at some of the things that are coming out of China in terms of EVs or hybrids? Are they really winning the game?
When the whole world was watching Tesla's next move, China quietly made a move that created a stir in the entire EV market. An engine has emerged that no one was expecting or preparing for. It is not only powerful, but also so cheap and effective that the old definitions of the EV industry have started changing. Imagine a technology that not only increases the speed of the car, but also takes its cost, maintenance, and performance to a new level. And this is not a dream. This technology is now in front of us. This new discovery of China has now become the center of discussion in countries like America, Europe, Japan. While on one hand, Western companies are stuck in the charging time, battery cost, and production of EV, China has quietly developed a powertrain that is changing the entire game. The question is this engine a danger signal for giant companies like Tesla? And will it change the definition of EV? Let's know the secrets of that engine, which has forced every car manufacturer to think. But before moving ahead, do subscribe to the channel so that such big news on technology and automobile reaches you first. Section 1. How China became the king of the EV market. Before we talk about the engine that shook the Chinese EV market, let's know how China got here. While the world was waiting for Tesla's next big announcement, China quietly took a step that changed the direction of the entire EV industry. Now, it is not just about making cars, it is a mission, a vision, in which China does not just want to be a part, but wants to be the leader who sets the entire direction. Today, China is not just competing, it is playing the game with new rules. And its strategy in this game is very clear. Create an ecosystem with green technology, rapid innovation, and national-level policies, which can make the EV sector dance to its tunes for years. If someone tells you that a new engine can shake the EV strategy of the entire world, you will not believe it. But China's recent progress is proving this. But the roots of this success are very deep. It all started when China's cities were plagued by toxic air and energy shortages. The government clearly saw that dependence on petrol and diesel would never make them self-sufficient. And this is where a decisive turning point began. The 863 program, started in 2001, was not just a government policy. It was a turning point in China's thinking, from where it made clean energy a national priority. Initially, the technology was expensive, there was little interest among the common people, but China did not give up. In a few years, it accelerated research and investment in technologies like battery EV, plug-in hybrid, and hydrogen. Then came the era of 2010, when the government started a flurry of subsidies and incentives. From the common consumer to the manufacturer, everyone started feeling that EV is the future. The first major success was seen when the city of Shenzhen converted its entire fleet of 16,000 buses to electric. That too by 2017. This was not a mission, it was a message. For the rest of the world as well. But the mission alone doesn't do anything. The government had a strong hold behind it. From subsidies to the dual credit system, every policy forced China's auto industry to turn to EVs. It was no longer possible for any manufacturer to ignore EVs. And the result? In just a decade, China became the largest EV manufacturer and consumer. Brands like BYD, NEIO, XPeng are now ruling not only domestically, but also in Europe, Latin America, and the rest of the world. And they are competing with giants like Tesla, Volkswagen. In simple words, it is not competition. It is China's turn now. The second biggest reason for success was the charging infrastructure. China has set up charging stations in its cities so fast that now EV drivers do not feel the lack of gas stations. Problems like range anxiety are now a thing of the past in China. Now that China has introduced a new, more efficient and cheaper engine, this, combined with the existing infrastructure, could upgrade the entire EV game. And it doesn't just stop at China. Countries like Europe are now copying its strategies. Companies like KTL and BYD are giving China a strategic edge globally in battery manufacturing. The EV battery supply chain is now under China's control, which is becoming a cause of concern for other countries. By 2023, 4 out of every 10 vehicles in China will be electric. The speed at which it has transitioned to EVs is nothing short of a revolution. And now that the whole world is falling behind in the race, the biggest question is, can anyone stop China's EV revolution? Section 2. BYD Seagull EV's groundbreaking engine that changed the global market overnight. Now let's come to the Chinese engine that has forced the entire EV market to think again. BYD Seagull has done what was till now considered a game of only high-end brands. It has shaken up the market by making an affordable, reliable, and powerful electric car. This is not a show-off or showpiece vehicle, but an EV that has been made keeping in mind the needs of the common man. Its focus is simple: more range at a low price, safe battery, and everyday driving technology. What makes BYD Seagull special is its smart engine setup, in which the company has used its own developed lithium iron phosphate LFP battery. Unlike other companies' batteries, it does not require cobalt or expensive materials. This is the reason why this battery is affordable, durable, and most importantly, safer. While people today fear battery blasts and overheating, Seagull has put an end to that worry. This car is straightforward without any frills. You want reliable mileage, and this one offers a range of about 200 miles on a single charge, and that too in an affordable car. Now, it's not just about the battery. BYD has thoughtfully designed every part of this car. For example, it has a single windshield wiper. It may seem like a small change, but it reduces production costs, keeps the car light, and makes maintenance easier, all without compromising on performance. The size of Seagull may be compact, but its interior is surprising. This car is specially made for cities, where space is limited, but people need both comfort and space. BYD has given this compact car a premium feel by providing smart seating, easy controls, and good storage in the interior. That too without adding a luxury tag. And the most important thing, fast charging. With Seagull, you won't spend hours at the charging station. Its battery gets charged in a short time, so you don't have to wait again and again. This makes it perfect for those who want a reliable companion in everyday life. In the West, EVs are often sold as a status symbol. Whether it's a Tesla or a BMW, they are priced out of the reach of the average buyer. But the Seagull challenges that perception. It's a car that offers everything a daily driver needs: good range, safety, durability, and a simple design at a low price. The Seagull is already gaining attention in markets like Europe and Latin America. Where customers are looking for affordable and reliable vehicles, BYD has offered a strong alternative. It costs a fraction of those luxury vehicles, but it performs no less. The real difference is evident when we look at BYD's recent economic data. BYD's revenue reached $28 billion in the third quarter of 2024, which was more than Tesla's $25 billion. This is not just because of Seagull sales, but it is proof that BYD's strategy is working globally. While Tesla focused on expensive models, BYD understood that the market for affordable vehicles was much bigger, and they targeted that. Their strategy is clear: deliver great quality at low cost, and that is what is attracting people to BYD. The secret of this success lies in the way BYD works. While other companies rely on different suppliers, BYD makes everything in-house, from batteries to final assembly. This means that they have everything under their control, cost as well as quality. This is why a car like Seagull could be made at such a low cost, and today it is making waves in markets where customers were always looking for an affordable option. It is not just a car, it is a statement that EV is no longer just for the rich, but for everyone. Seagull proves that if the plan is clear and the technology is well taught, any company can challenge the biggest brands in the world. And BYD has not just challenged, but set a new standard that other companies will now have to live up to, or fall behind in the race. Technological innovations that are surprising competitors. Now, China's EV companies aren't just making cars, they're laying the foundation for the traffic system to come. While technology like self-driving was once limited to premium cars, it's now slowly making its way to budget cars. This change didn't come suddenly. It's the result of years of innovation and ground-level understanding. Companies like NIO and BYD are now bringing features that were previously only available in high-priced cars. Things like lane assist, cruise control, voice commands, and auto parking are now available in cars that a middle-class family can afford. These systems aren't fully autonomous yet, but with each update, these cars are getting smarter and safer. BYD's driver assist technology is proving to be a relief for those who travel in traffic every day. Little things, like automatically braking at signals or giving side alerts while overtaking, are not just convenience, but safety too. When it comes to range, other Chinese companies are also attracting attention. Companies like XPeng are making long-distance travel easier with hybrid systems. Especially in areas where charging infrastructure is still not strong, such systems give people the assurance that they won't get stranded on the way. This technology is not just for big cities, but also for towns and cities where driving an electric car was still a challenge. This change shows that China is not just in the technology race, it is now bringing direct change in the lives of common people. And it's not just about software. Chinese cars are now posing a serious challenge in interior design and comfort as well. Earlier, it was believed that cheap cars lack comfort and quality, but brands like BYD and NIO have broken this notion. The interiors of their cars now feel no less than a luxury car. Buyers with limited wallets are now realizing that they don't have to spend lakhs to get great technology and a premium feel. This is the real game changer: high-end technology at a low price. What's more interesting is that Western companies are now trying to find a response to China's rapid pace. Companies like Tesla, Volkswagen, which were till now considered the leaders in innovation, are now having to compete with brands like BYD, NIO, and XPeng, that too on a front where price and quality go hand in hand. It's clear the next phase of EVs won't be created just in expensive cities or luxury showrooms. It will emerge from the streets, factories, and budget-friendly innovations of China. When it comes to electric vehicles, most people focus on their clean image and low-pollution benefits. But the truth is that every EV has a hidden cost: the environment. EVs may not emit smoke when they run, but the process of making their batteries still has a huge impact on the Earth. Mining metals like lithium, nickel, and cobalt is not just energy-intensive, it also comes with a waste of natural resources and a lot of water consumption. In some areas, such as the Lithium Triangle in South America or the mining areas of China, millions of liters of water are pumped out of the ground to make batteries, affecting both farmers and the environment. A large portion of cobalt comes from the African country of Congo, but the conditions there are often a cause for concern, with children working in the mines, workers lacking safe equipment, and often receiving very little pay for hard work. These conditions cannot be ignored. especially when the whole world is considering EV as the vehicle of the future. Understanding these problems, some companies are now becoming aware. For example, companies like KTL and BYD of China are now focusing on recycling batteries so that dependence on mining can be reduced and precious metals can be extracted again from already used batteries. This is a good start, but it is not a complete solution to the problem. Work is also being done in another direction. Instead of throwing away old batteries, they are being used in storage systems. That is, batteries that can no longer run vehicles are now being used to store electricity in villages, hospitals, or solar panel systems. This increases the life of the battery and reduces the need for new materials to some extent. But these steps are still initial. Another truth is that as the use of EV increases, the pressure on land, water, and human labor will also increase. And if these issues are not addressed in time, a green technology can become a new problem. Consumers in Western countries are now taking these things seriously. When buying a car, they now look at where the battery material comes from, who extracted it, and whether its sourcing was ethical. This pressure is now affecting companies in China, which are now working on materials that are less cobalt or rare metals. They are also trying to prove that their supply chain is clean and responsible by getting recognition from international organizations. But there is still a long way to go. With every new EV, new resources are consumed, mining begins in new areas, and often at a cost that is not visible to the common consumer. So when we talk about moving towards a green future, it is important that the path is also made as clean and responsible as we consider its goal. Traditional automakers under pressure from China's EV surge. China's EV revolution is no longer confined to its home country. It has taken over international markets, and that's become a cause of concern for the old auto giants. For decades, brands like Toyota, BMW, and Ford enjoyed a secure position in the market, but now they are finding it difficult to maintain their position. China's brands like BYD, NIO, and XPeng are rapidly entering markets that were previously dominated by Western companies. It's not just about technology, it's about providing the best options at the right price. The same formula is working fast in Europe, where customers are now interested in EVs but are put off by expensive vehicles from companies like Tesla or VW. Companies like BYD are filling this gap. Their vehicles are affordable and feature-packed, especially in countries like France, Spain, and Italy, where customers are cautious about expenses. These Chinese EV brands are rapidly making inroads. And this shift is not just limited to Europe. There is also growing interest in EVs in emerging markets in Latin America and Asia. And when it comes to affordability, Chinese companies are emerging as a strong alternative there too. People are ready to make the switch if they find an EV cheaper and more reliable than traditional petrol cars. This rapid change has rung alarm bells for older brands. They are not just challenged to adapt to the electric shift, but also have to prove themselves in the price race. And this is not easy, as Chinese companies have a strong grip on costs and the supply chain. In the US, Tesla is already feeling the pressure. Elon Musk has openly expressed concern that if Chinese technology is banned in the US, it will become more expensive and difficult to make EVs, because so much of what is needed, from batteries to components, comes from China. This is not just a political debate, it is becoming a real production problem. Ford CEO Jim Farley has also acknowledged that if American companies remain sluggish, China's dominance will soon push them out of the market. The message is clear: the old identity is no longer enough. To remain in the market, technology, price, and strategy. All three will have to be fast, and companies that do not understand this will have to be ready to be left behind. Nothing is permanent in the auto industry today. Companies like Ford, once considered the heartbeat of the market, now find themselves at a crossroads where they have to break out of old ways. The EV race is no longer an option. It has become a necessity. But keeping up with cheaper Chinese EV brands, especially when they are offering better features at a lower price, is not easy for any traditional company. Ford is now focusing on making its models smart and different, rather than just electrifying them, offering features that are new to the average customer and that give it a different experience from companies like BYD. At the same time, they also have to reduce production costs or risk falling behind in the price race. But not every challenge is just for Western companies. Chinese companies are also now facing some realities. One big problem is the charging infrastructure. While driving an EV is easy in cities, charging points in rural areas or small towns are still difficult to find, whether within China or in new markets like India, Brazil, or Africa. The second challenge is the gradual removal of government subsidies. Until now, the Chinese government has provided heavy discounts and support to promote the EV sector. This has kept prices low. But as the industry matures, the government is reducing these subsidies. Companies will now have to survive on their own, without government support. Now the real test for Chinese EV companies is whether they will be able to make equally affordable and reliable vehicles without subsidies. And will they be able to solve the charging challenge in rural and international markets? To stay in this race, every company will now have to provide long-term strategy and sustainable solutions, not just price. Otherwise, the rapidly growing market can turn around at any time. Solid-state batteries. China's next leap in EV technology. If you have ever wondered why electric vehicles are spreading so fast in the world, the real answer is not the design or the brand, but the battery. Yes, the power of any EV lies in its battery. This is the part that determines how far the car will travel, how quickly it will charge, and what will be its price. A large part of the total cost of any electric car, about 1/3, is only the battery. That is, if the battery is expensive, the car will also be expensive. And China has the strongest hold in this area. You may be surprised to know that most of the EV batteries made in the world are either made in China, or the material used for them comes from there. This situation did not arise suddenly. China started investing in battery technology long before the EV trend came. When other countries were discussing EVs, Chinese companies like CATL and BYD were setting up their production plants and strengthening the supply chain. Today, the situation is such that about 70% of the world's lithium-ion batteries are made in China. And not just in production, China is also ahead technologically. Recently, CATL has introduced a new battery technology, which claims to give a range of up to 500 kilometers in just 10 minutes of charging. This is a solution to the problem that most people consider the biggest in EVs: long charging time. Manufacturing batteries is not easy. It requires minerals like lithium and cobalt, which are expensive and technically challenging to find, extract, and process. But China has transformed this entire process into a strong industrial structure through government support, availability of resources, and cheap labor. Today, the situation is such that no matter which brand of EV you buy, Tesla, Hyundai, or any other, its battery will either be made in China or the material used in it will have come through China. This strategic advantage of China is now determining the direction of the entire EV industry. And unless other countries invest so deeply in this technology and supply chain, China will continue to dominate the region. Today, the EV world is no longer just about faster cars or longer range. The real game now is battery technology. Chinese companies are at the forefront of this and have now shifted their focus to another new direction: solid-state batteries. These batteries are different from traditional lithium-ion batteries. They contain solid electrolyte instead of liquid, making them safer, more durable, and better performing. Although they are not yet widely used, they could change the direction of the EV industry in the future. This is why Chinese companies like CrushThe and BYD are seriously working on this. But China's focus is not just on creating new technology, but also on finding solutions for old batteries. As EV vehicles increase, so will the number of used batteries. Instead of throwing them away, companies are now recycling them, re-extracting valuable materials like lithium, nickel, and cobalt from them. This not only reduces costs, but also reduces dependence on mining. Some companies are even experimenting with removing these batteries from vehicles and using them as energy storage in homes or offices. This means that even when a battery is no longer capable of running an EV, its second life begins. This method is both sustainable and economically sensible. Another important aspect is that China has not only moved ahead by manufacturing batteries, but has also taken control of the supply chain of the material used in batteries. Chinese companies have direct connections with many mineral areas in Africa, South America, and Asia. This is why Chinese companies control costs and are able to produce more stable than others. Other countries are now seeing this lead and are trying to reduce their dependence on China. Europe has increased investment in its battery manufacturing, and the US has also started focusing on domestic production. But these efforts are still at an early stage and lag behind China's years of progress. However, the path is not easy for China either. Environmental and ethical issues surrounding mining are now drawing more attention. For example, in the case of cobalt, questions have been raised about the conditions of workers in countries like Congo, child labor, and unsafe working practices. In response to these criticisms, some Chinese companies are now researching ways to reduce cobalt consumption so that batteries can be cleaner and more responsible. It is clear that batteries are not just a part of an EV. They have become the backbone of the entire industry. And by mastering them, China has transformed itself into a power center that is now driving not just cars, but the entire global energy transition. Why is China becoming the biggest threat to Tesla? In the last few years, whenever there was talk of electric vehicles, EVs, Tesla's name came first. Elon Musk's company was considered the leader of the EV revolution, and it really brought a big change in this sector. But now the picture is changing. The biggest player challenging Tesla's supremacy has become none other than China. And there are many solid reasons behind this. First of all, let's talk about the price. Tesla's vehicles are definitely high-tech, but are out of the reach of common people. On the other hand, Chinese companies like BYD, NIO, and XPeng are making cheap but feature-rich vehicles, which are proving to be better for everyday use. This is the reason why Tesla's sales are slowing down in countries like Europe, Asia, and Latin America, and Chinese companies are rapidly making a place. The second reason is China's hold on battery technology and production. The heart of an EV is its battery, and China is at the forefront in this field. About 70% of the world's lithium-ion batteries are made in China. Companies like CATL and BYD are not only making a large number of batteries, but are also working on new technologies like fast charging and solid-state batteries. The third thing is government support. The Chinese government is giving full support to the EV sector, whether it is subsidies, land for production, or funding for research. This has enabled companies there to make better products at a lower cost. Another challenge for Tesla is that it is dependent on batteries and components from China. If political tensions between the US and China increase, it may be difficult for Tesla to maintain the supply chain. China is no longer just a manufacturer. It has become a country that guides the EV market. And if Tesla wants to maintain its supremacy, it will have to make major changes not only in technology, but also in pricing, localization, and strategy. If you want more such inside information related to technology, electric vehicles, and auto industry, then subscribe to the channel now. Like the video, share it, and give your opinion in the comment below. We will keep bringing such strong and research-based news for you every day. Join us and be full of information.